Welcome to the first comments video of 2025, and we have a doozy for you today. Beginning with this individual calling themselves K47AU, and what they're commenting on is the most recent Choral Blade Grotto broadcast I did, where I look at Jason Paul Grievous' Fiction Babble Christmas message. And so this comment is in that context. They are speaking about Jason Paul Grievous. And they say this guy joined Common Law Group in UK, as we are here, approx 4 years back, ego. When I first come across his communicado, the moderator asked him to leave the group as he was too much. I can't exactly state her wording. He was asked to leave the group. She stated, "We are not quantum grammar group and not interested in his input." Alongside those lines, he apologized and stayed on. Shortly, I was not following the group, but he resurfaced now and then all over different types of groups forums, like someone who have nothing else to do, and here he is in his 20s with no much experience but a lot of presence of himself and his selfie. I remember a lot of his posts and his site and services he offered. It is amazing to be a witness it. I have to guess that plain English is not this individual's first language. But I get the gist of what they're saying. They're not really saying anything good or bad about Jason Paul Grievous. So, as I suspected, Grievous is in his 20s, so he is just a young fellow. And as we all know, young folks out there, for the most part, myself included when I was young, way back in the 90s, young folks think they know everything, and they're never wrong. And consequently, they make lots and lots of mistakes. So let's just keep that in mind. Thanks for the comment. The new year wouldn't be complete without starting off with one of these types of comments, which I get every so often. Someone coming on who hasn't probably even watched 60 seconds of one of the thousands of videos I have on my channel, and they decide to comment, "Do you offer a book or course to learn this grammar?" Which, if they would actually put forth a modicum of effort, they would know the answers to this just by watching the introductory video on my YouTube page. How hard is that, folks? If you want to know about something, you have to know how to research. You have to know how to study. And as I'm finding out, especially in this younger generation, people they're either lazy or they literally don't know how to look things up. They don't know how to learn and self-educate. So my kuleana to them was to share the introductory video on my YouTube channel. And then immediately thereafter they commented, "How do I write and rewrite in quantum and know I've done it 100% correct and not with mistakes?" And the answer to that question is, well, if you do a math problem, how do you know you've got it correct? You have to learn math. So in the same context, you have to learn quantum grammar 100% and get closure on it, and then you'll know whether you're correct and you don't have mistakes. Just like if you're going to write in plain simple English, if you know English grammar, plain simple English fiction grammar, you'll know whether you made a spelling error or a grammatical error. You have to learn it. That's how. Or you pay someone to do it for you. It's up to you. Next comment comes from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And they say, "I followed them for about 10 years or more, but I ended up not understanding what their objective was in the end since apparently they had not achieved their objective. They were pure theories and no action, only probabilities of making almost certain changes, but without achieving changes at a global or local level. I hope one day to understand so much grammar without any success. All right, so it's my guess that they're talking about the Syntax Learning Center, i.e. those folks out there who are basically followers of Russell J. Gould, part of that cult. And so this individual is saying that they followed them for about 10 years or more, but not understanding what their objective was. So this individual doesn't understand what the objective was, since apparently in the end they had not achieved their objective. Well, how do you know they didn't achieve their objective if you didn't understand what the objective was? That doesn't make any sense, first of all. And there are pure theories and no action, only probabilities of making certain changes. How can a change be certain if it's just a probability? That's the second thing that doesn't make sense to me. And then they end it by saying, I hope one day to understand so much grammar without any success. Are they saying that they hope, are they implying that the Syntax Learning Center understands so much grammar but has no success? Because this individual obviously doesn't understand the grammar, so how would they know if anyone else understands the grammar? Or are they being literal in saying that they hope one day that they understand so much grammar without any success? Why would you hope that you don't have any success? This comment is just really off the wall here, but I thought you would enjoy it. It makes absolutely zero sense to me, any of it. It's very strange, strangely written. Next comment comes from Glorice. They are a member. Thank you very much, Glorice, for your membership. And they say, for this title closure claim of the grammar term meaning with the vaccine is with an... Wow. Okay. So this is a very good attempt at correct sentence structure for someone who perhaps just heard about the grammar and doesn't know anything about it. The positional sequencing is incorrect. There are too many position loading effect phrases in front of the verb. There are particles of negation in the facts, like the ing in meaning. Closure spelled wrong. And then they end with a dangling, as I would call it, a dangling participle loadial. Because it says vaccine is with an and then nothing. Because they have a space and then they have parentheses. So that means there's nothing there. So the an is just dangling there as a dangling participle loadial. And then they say the flag is captured by the eagle that's on top. In a sense, in a very basic rudimentary way, that is kind of what's happening. But unless an eagle physically grabs a flag with its talons and runs away with it, an eagle, the topper, the finale can't capture anything. It's the entity that placed the finale there is the one that captured it. What the finale does, if you put a finale on a flag, according to Army Regs 840-10, it negates the constitution, the contract of that flag. That's it. Now, the eagle may represent something to some people. You know, for example, some folks say that an eagle with the wings up as if it's in flight is a postal representation or presidential representation. And the eagle with the wings down, where it's resting and the wings are at its side, Some people think that represents Vatican. It just depends. You have to do your research there. Thank you for the comments, Maurice. Next comment comes from Lone Rangers 777, and they say, get ready for what? More actors trying to brainwash the masses into believing everything they hear? They're commenting on my short wish message where I suggest that folks get ready. And that's what their response to that. That's the value that they added to that. And then my Kuleana to that is, if you have to ask that question, then you definitely do not possess closure on correct sentence structure, which is true because they don't. I know they don't. We get another one from Lone Ranger 777, and they say, thank you very much. Appreciation to you for my 1-month membership. Can't wait to see all the videos I may have missed. Well, you're very welcome. Because I do that from time to time, I gift memberships, 1-month memberships out to folks randomly. So usually do that during premieres or live streams. So make sure you show up for those, because you might catch a random gift membership from me. And sometimes other loyal students will gift memberships as well. And Lone Ranger is correct. There are videos exclusive only to members, such as unedited live streams, where you can get all the juicy bits in there that the public isn't able to rewatch. And there's also a plethora of special members-only content that no one has seen besides the members. So that's a consideration of joining the membership, either at Tier 1 or Tier 2. Tier 2 obviously has access to all the members' videos. In Tier 1, they don't have access to all the videos, but they do have access to a good deal that are not available to the public. Also, P.S. There are over 1,000 videos available to the public. So before you start saying that I'm withholding things, I'm not. 100% of my correct sentence structure knowledge is available to you for free, without a membership on this channel, if you choose to study. Next comment comes from Razvan. They're also a member, and they say, Happy New Year to you, brother. Wait, Happy New Year to you too, brother. Very happy to see you back. 2025, the year with the solutions. Hopefully, my friend, hopefully. 2025 is certainly going to be a banger. I can see it coming. Thanks for the message, Razvan. Next comment comes from Dark Science Radio, and they say, just want to say I enjoyed your latest video on Gurdjieff. Nice to see the branching out into other relevant topics. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Dharma Science Radio. Next comment comes from Harris Diz, and they say, isn't this how nobility and monarchs and kings and queens are set in place? One day someone just decides, and it's there from there on. LOL, until you come along and question validity. I think they don't mean nobility. I think they mean nobility. Nobility. Never ceases to amaze me how folks just don't proofread comments. But as an English major in college, you know, I guess sets me apart from most folks. I can't stand typos on my own. Like, if I publish something with a typo in it, I have to correct it if it's pointed out to me. I can't just let it go. So to answer the question, no, that's not how nobility and monarchs and queens are set in place. Might makes right. As David-WYNN Miller once said, you can hold what you can keep. So if you have the force behind you, that's how you're set in place. Or you have to be able to perform. No one can go out and say that they're a commander of some sort in the military and have any success with it if they don't know what they're doing, if they can't go out into a field of combat, a theater of war on the field. They're not going to be successful if they have no experience, if they're not trained in what they're doing. Who's going to follow them? What soldier is going to put their life on the line for a commander who has no military experience? For example, what individual, even in the fiction system here, which is what we're talking about, is going to put their faith in a commander-in-chief, a president or something like that, or a governor who has no political experience? Nobody. So you see what I'm saying? It's not because someone says so. You can go around all day long saying you're postmaster general this or that, or federal postal judge this or that. But if you don't have the ability or the capacity to perform the duties of said title, most critical-minded folks are going to see through you. Now, of course, you're going to have a contingent of people that maybe are blind to that because they don't know what they don't know, and they choose to navigate being pulled by their emotions and getting caught up in exciting words and concepts and things like that, so they don't think critically. Kind of like religion, how folks get all up in a fervor about Jesus or Muhammad or whoever, and they don't really take the time to think about it critically and logically, what exactly it is they're following. It's kind of the same thing. So on the flip side, if you can get some gullible people to buy into what you're doing, well then maybe yeah, you can be a king or a queen. Or, most likely, you have to have an army behind you, and it gets forced upon people, which is the more likely scenario. Now we come to the Icarus Stanhauser comment, which this was a lot of fun. This was just, again, one of these folks who just don't bother to read the community guidelines before commenting, just think they can say whatever they want to say without following the rules of the vessel that they're a guest of. Icarus is probably one of those folks that would just bust into your house, piss in the corner, throw their food wrappers on the ground and not respect your house at all, keep their muddy shoes on, because they don't care. They're not bothering to respect anything. That's the impression I get. But here we go. They said complete garbage. And they're talking about the data that I'm presenting on this channel in over 1,000 videos over 7+ years. They're saying it's complete garbage. I don't know any of that grammar stuff, and yet I'm a good writer. This will be disproven as we go through this individual's comments. You're going to see many, many errors. I know lots of writers who know nothing about indirect objects and dangling participles, and yet they're good writers. I don't know what indirect objects have anything to do with correct sentence structure. The only thing that grammar garbage will ever get you is street cred with other grammar Nazis. I was actually trying to liken grammar to learning how to read music or music theory. I was going to say that there are thousands upon thousands of musicians out there who know nothing about how to read music, and yet they're brilliant. Musicians, virtuosos even. At least with music theory, you can actually glean useful information. You can learn to put together chords and melodies. See what I mean? If you know something about music theory. But you can know grammar inside and out and know every last rule about how to put a sentence together and still be a asterisk writer. Well, the difference is that in grammar, it's more like the correct sentence structure is a mathematical interface on grammar. it's closer to algebra than it would be to music, as far as an analogy goes. Because you can't just improvise through algebra. You have to know the formulas. That would be a more precise analogy. However, Icarus wouldn't know shit about that because they don't know anything about correct sentence structure. Nobody needs this stuff. My Kuleana to that is, show us on the mannequin where the quantum grammar hurts you. Thanks for taking the time to tell everyone what they don't need. You're so knowledgeable. See, this right here, nobody needs this stuff. Above and beyond everything they wrote before that, direct violation of the community guidelines. But this individual feels that they're above that, perhaps. They don't need to respect anybody. They just say what they want to say. So then they say, and that's exactly what small-minded people, period, do, period. Such a good writer, Icarus, such a good writer. You use the ad hominem fallacy. Did I? Where did I name call? Ad hominem basically means name calling. I don't see anywhere in here where I called him a name, him or her a name. So they don't even know what an ad hominem is. I laid out exactly why your argument is useless. What argument is that? I fail to see that. I guess now they're jumping to assumption presumption. And then you just attack me personally. Perhaps you can explain, you could elucidate to the rest of your viewers. You could elucidate to the rest of your viewers. Icarus, honey, the correct usage of the word elucidate would mean, you would say, you could elucidate the rest of your viewers. It wouldn't be to the. Look it up, you great writer, you. Why grammar is so useful? Because grammar is communication. Isn't it good and useful to be able to communicate with correctness and clarity? Obviously, I mean, not for you it's not, because, I mean, look at your sentence formation and your sentence fragments. Clarity and comprehensiveness is definitely not one of your objectives, judging by your writing, that is. Perhaps you could outline how one great writer makes his works better through grammar, and how it's more clear and understandable, and how less understood writers, poorer writers, write poorer sentences. Right. I'm glad they weren't left poorer sentences with poorer grammar. Now that would be an argument. But stick to your ad hominem attacks, because I think we both know the only people who need this stuff are people like you. Wow. I can't believe what a great writer Icarus is. And they're proving it again and again. By the way, by great writer, I think you know that I'm being a little bit cheeky here. So my Kuleana is, I see you are a sensitive one. The only argument here is the one in your head. If you construed what I said as a personal attack, then that tells me why you're here. And it's not to learn from the 1,000+ free videos. You ask why grammar is so useful. Using a sentence fragment and incorrect punctuation, which tells me you are a shit at plain simple English. What is grammar? A form of communication. Why is communication so useful? To convey value, contract, and meaning. Duh. Why are you here, anonymous Icarus? And then I say, and actually, if you are truly interested in an adult conversation about this topic, email me, include your full name. I'll set up a 10 to 15-minute video consultation where you may ask me whatever you please, face to face. But I'm sure you won't. I know your type. So I gave this guy or girl a chance. If they're serious, they're investing so much now space in typing out these horribly written comments. If they're serious, maybe they'll step up to the plate and want to do a video chat with me in a confidential where we can be face to face. But trust me, folks, let me save you the suspense. Individuals like this would never do that because they're the classic keyboard warrior type thing. So then they say, did you talk about fragrance in that video? Talk about punctuation and that video? What is he talking about? Fragrance. Did you talk about anything that we haven't learned past the eighth grape? The eighth grape? In that video, no, you talked about bizarre arcane rules that really don't apply to anything. They might be bizarre to this individual because this individual is obviously extremely ignorant when it comes to correct grammar, but they're not really arcane rules. The rules of correct sentence structure are really no different than the rules of fiction. They're just simplified. So don't pretend you're talking about fundamentals of English. I'm not pretending, because these are fundamentals. And you're going to tell me that you didn't make a personal attack when you asked me where on the dummy I was hurt. Please, be intellectually honest. And why am I here? Yours was just a random video that came up in my feed, and I'm calling bullshit. Oh yeah, challenging to explain the value in that video. What? I have no idea what they mean. And I said, that's exactly what I thought. Because I knew they wouldn't address the fact that I gave them my email address. If they really have something to say it to my face. But of course they won't. They're too scared. It's okay. Not everyone can be brave. Least of all someone named Icarus. Icarus. Now they go on to say, you are sore. You are sore because you can't write. Oh. Thank you so much, Icarus, for the joy you're bringing me here. This is really gold in my mind. You are jealous because none of the girls ever wanted to date a grammar Nazi, and it bugged the hell out of you. Sorry you never got to be cool, dude. You're sorry that I never got to be cool? Well, Icarus, if you're looking for forgiveness from me, here's your forgiveness, buddy. And then they go on to say, and you are so scared that you had to delete all of my comments. Your ego is so incredibly fragile because grammar and consult you on grammar, spend 10 to 15 minutes discussing grammar with you, with anyone. Would you schedule 5 minutes with anyone on a discussion on the correct way to crawl? Mastering the intricacies of grammar? If you don't have it by the 8th grade, you can't be helped. Oh, let me illustrate. Here's something I learned in Mrs. Evans' class in 6th grade. Be, am, is, are, was, were, being, blah, 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 blah. She made us recite them over and over in that order. What are they? Helping verbs. I had to look that up. I've carried that stupid cadence. I've carried that stupid cadence. Wow, Icarus, you are a phenomenal writer. Phenomenal. Wow. You might even be up there with Hemingway or Shakespeare even. Holy cow. I never remembered why or cared what a helping verb was. And you know what? I've never used any of those words incorrectly. Oh. I guess you don't know what you don't know. Did you ever know someone who tripped over a may or a did? It's arcane BS, and your video is even more arcane than that. Dude, hire a prostitute if you need to get laid. Grammar if you don't have it. By the time your balls drop, give up writing. Ah, they just keep getting more vulgar and more vulgar. And vulgarity and continuous examples of vulgarity, like doing that, in my mind, shows what you are on the inside. It's the inside coming out through your words. Oh, if you are feeling bored, please outline all the mistakes I made in this missive. I don't want this to be a 4-hour video, bud, so I'll pass on that. But you're such a great writer. Oh, there's absolutely no mistakes in what you wrote. So I went on to respond to them saying that obviously I didn't delete any of their comments. And then all of a sudden I went back and saw that all of their comments had been deleted. All of them. So then I made a post in my community section where I tagged them and again poked fun at them, saying, talk about deleting comments. You know, they deleted their own comments. And this was their response. They said, do you want me to be honest why I deleted my comments? I mean, of course, I would like you to be honest. Does this mean that up to this point you haven't been honest? Why do you need to say that? Number one, I make it a practice to delete my comments regularly because I don't want to be dealing with old commons for the rest of my life. What do old commons have to do with comments? I don't get that. But I mean, that's definitely a suspect excuse. But I do that at the beginning of every month, and that's not why I deleted my comments with you. Obviously not, because you made those comments after the first of the month. This is January, and you deleted them. Wouldn't they be deleted at the beginning of February by your logic? You are just, wow. I didn't even have to give you a shovel. You came with a freaking backhoe, Icarus, dug your own hole, and now you're wallowing in the bottom of it and all the mud and shit. And I didn't even have to help you get there. All right, I may have helped you a little bit. And that's not why I deleted my comments with you. I watched some more of your videos, and to be honest, I felt sorry for you. Oh, again, they have to clarify that they're being honest. What does that mean when someone has to keep telling you that? At first I thought you were an academic, and I was arguing with some scholar dude who had made his life's work into this arcane study that has really no practical application. But then I saw your other videos and I felt bad for you. You're just kind of a lonely guy and you're looking for a reason to be important. And who am I to butt heads with some dude who's finding an outlet in society to express himself? If this is your thing, man, I wish you all the comments and subscribers in the world. Well, you know what, Icarus? I do appreciate what you said at the end there, if it's sincere, although I highly doubt it's sincere. But I do get some kind of weird vibe from that, like a positive vibe, that's in direct contradiction with the energy that I receive from the rest of your comments. So, in that case, I will leave the door open for you, Icarus. Even though you came here to my channel in a very disrespectful manner, saying that what I've been doing for the past 7+ years is bullshit, which I mean, that I don't care that you said that. Like, that doesn't affect me personally. I don't really care what you think of me, or basically what anybody else does either, because I'm confident in who I am and what I'm doing here, that I've been doing for 7+ years, teaching hundreds of folks all over the earth. I can certify this. I have over 1,000 videos on this topic on this channel. So I'm pretty secure in that type of position. But the fact that you came here void of the honor and void of the grace, just speaking out of turn, or as the kids say, out of pocket, it just tells me a lot about you and your psychology. And the fact that you had to tell me and everybody else that you're such a good writer. And then when we went through all your comments, oh my goodness, the opposite proved to be true, going by what you wrote. Okay? But I digress. I will leave the door open for you, Icarus. If you do want to contact me, jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com. If you have questions for me, if you think what I'm doing is bullshit, and it really bothers you, or you're concerned about it, or you need to prove it to me that it's bullshit, hit me up. Pull up, bro. Step forward. Let's have a conversation. Step up. Man to man. Mano a mano. You won't. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being here. This was fun. This is really fun, and I hope you folks out there that leave comments saying, "Oh, Jason, don't let the trolls bother you." I hope this shows that it doesn't bother me. Matter of fact, I get great joy out of reading things like this from individuals like this. It's so funny to me because I don't take it personal. And if I could leave you with something in this video, it's out there in the world when you're speaking with people, directly interacting with them. You don't know those people. So why would you take anything they say personally? It doesn't make sense, does it? Try to invest your energy in areas that are the most beneficial and efficient, not only for you, but for your immediate circle, and also for the rest of the earth. A little bit of Gurja for you. Thanks for watching. Peace.